Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward. And today I got a question that was sent in through the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page by Pedro. And he says, I need a tip, Lee, with eating. How many meals a day? I'm trying to get ripped and lose belly fat. Also, I'm taking a fat burner. Okay, how many meals should you eat per day? Now, the typical bodybuilding nutrition recommendation is to eat 6 meals per day. 6 small meals per day. And if you're trying to bulk up, gain muscular body weight, that's actually a pretty good recommendation. And the reason for it is because you can only eat so much food per meal. I mean, your belly can only take so much. So rather than trying to force feed yourself and jam more food in per sitting, it's easier to just have more meals. I mean, that's a great way to increase your calorie intake and get more nutrition in your system. That's all good for bulking up, but when it comes to fat loss, things are a little different. Rather than trying to force more food in, we're trying to restrict the food so that we can get into a calorie deficit in order to tap into burning stored body fat for fuel. So things change a bit when it comes to fat loss. And if you were to eat 6 small meals per day, I mean, you can certainly still lose weight as long as you're in the calorie deficit and you're meeting your nutrition needs and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is, in order to be in a calorie deficit while eating 6 meals a day, those meals have to be very small. I mean, in some cases it might be a few hundred calories per meal. And the problem with that is there's very little eating satisfaction when you just eat a few hundred calories per meal. I mean, it's no fun to sit down to the table, eat, and then have to leave the table still hungry, right? Because you're trying to restrict your calories. That is not fun. I mean, you can suffer through it for the short term, but eventually you're going to give in to those cravings. Willpower can only take you so far. I mean, you have to have eating satisfaction in order to stick with a fat loss diet. So what I would recommend instead is to eat fewer meals, but larger meals. And the reason for this is because it gives you more eating satisfaction. It's a lot more comfortable to sit down to the table and eat until your belly is comfortably full and your hunger is satisfied, and do that fewer times a day rather than sit down multiple times a day and have these little tiny mini meals and still feeling hungry. If you can eat multiple mini meals throughout the day and never get that satisfaction, you'll always have that hunger in your system. Whereas if you eat a few bigger meals, then you get that satisfaction where you sit down, you have a good solid meal, and you're like, right? You can just relax. Everything feels good. But if you limit those meals, say like 2 to 3 meals a day, you can still meet your calorie needs and be in a calorie deficit, but have the eating satisfaction. So one of the strategies that I recommend for people who are losing body fat is, instead of reducing the size of your meals, simply reduce the number of meals. It works really well. But start off gradual. Don't just jump in, going from, 6 meals a day to like 2 meals a day or something like that. There's no need in doing that. What I would recommend, if you're currently eating 6 meals a day, cut back to 5. That's just a small restriction, but it's enough to get you moving in the right direction. Once your fat loss plateaus at 5 meals a day, hey, cut back to 4 meals per day. Once you hit a plateau with that, cut back to 3. And most people will get to their fat loss goals with that 3 meal a day range. If you want to incorporate different types of strategies like intermittent fasting or something like that works as well. But simply reducing the number of meals is an easy way to get yourself into a calorie deficit and still get the eating satisfaction that you need in order to stick to your diet plan for the long term. So hopefully this helps to answer your question. And if you have any comments or feedback related to this, feel free to post those down in the comment section below, and I'll chat with you down there. And stay tuned for my next video coming soon. Take care. Over and out.